coming to you from the new studio today. We are not moved in. It's not completely set up, but I am taking the opportunity of this long Labor Day weekend to bring all my fabric over here, organize it, measure it, photograph it, and digitally catalog it. It has become quite the undertaking, which I kind of knew it would be, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I was feeling optimistic whenever I brought it all over here yesterday, and then I remembered that in addition to what I brought over here, there were 3 boxes that were already over here. And I was like, oh my goodness. I got started yesterday, and I'll show you what I accomplished. And today my goal is, well, let's talk about what I got done yesterday. So I brought everything over. I took everything out of the bins piece by piece and organized it into piles based on weight, projected use, and knit or woven status. So I have like piles for drapey lightweight wovens, drapey medium weight wovens, crisp light, medium, and heavyweight wovens, suitings, denims. I have a linen-y chambray pile, I have a leather pile, and with knits, I have light, medium, heavy, and activewear stack. So it's quite a lot. That's where I left off yesterday. And as I was going through it, I also tried to pull out things that I no longer wanted or felt like I was going to use, which will be donated once I'm done. I'm hoping to add to that pile a little bit more today and be a little bit stricter about what I'm keeping or not keeping. Most of what I'm getting rid of are pieces that are either just like too small to be anything. Although I do have a pile of smaller pieces that I like to dip into for like pocketings and stuff like that. I just don't need to keep every tiny piece. As much as I'm like, oh, I'm gonna quilt with them, or I'll make small projects with them, like it just doesn't, there's just too much. So a lot of it is smaller pieces that are kind of too small to do anything with, and a lot of it is more formal type of fabrics that I just don't sew with really at all. Unless it's like a special occasion, and in those cases I usually end up buying new fabric instead of using what I have. So today's goal, after everything that I did yesterday, is to measure out each piece, photograph it, and categorize it into Trello, labeling it as far as what it is. To the best of my knowledge, some of it, a lot of it is secondhand, so I don't really know. Whether or not it's washed, potential patterns I could use it for, which bin it's going into. All of my bins are over here, and I'm gonna fold them nice and neat. I've cut out a cardboard template to use that will hopefully fit in my bins really nicely. The bins I got are these IKEA Drona bins. So yeah, this fits in pretty well, I think. I try to leave some space on either side so that it wasn't like overflowing. I did not get the lids for these. I don't feel like I'll need the lids. And I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but I did a really subtle tone-on-tone number labeling system with these, and I have 20. And they will go in my Kallax cube shelves, which are not here yet, but they will be ready to just be popped in the shelves as soon as the shelves get here. I have them, they're just at the old house. Yeah, that's my goal. I'm hoping it doesn't take me all day long, but I'm ready to get started. Wish me luck! Hello everyone! We are here and it is day 2 of the fabric organization mat project. Well, really it's like day 5 or something, but I have been like sort of sporadically coming over here. I have like 3 more piles to tackle over there on the floor of fabrics from cubes. And today I went ahead and brought over all of my fabrics on rolls. So this is the last of all the fabric that's at the old house, which is very exciting. These should be pretty fast to categorize. I'm not going to actually unroll them and count because I know that everything on the roll is more than 3 yards. And in my tags on Trello, I just have yard increments of a ½ yard, and then it stops at 3 and it just says 3+. So anything that has more than 3 yards, I'm not even going to bother counting it. I'm just going to put it and say 3+ yards because ain't nobody got time for that. I got like rolls of chiffon that are so thick that I know have like a lot of fabric on them. So, and then I also have a few pieces that were folded that were like 5-ish or more yards that I'm gonna put onto rolls, and I have some empty rolls that I can use. This is how the bins are looking. Of course, they'll be stored upright, but I wanted to stack the fabric so that when I pull the bin out, it's all in a beautiful little file. So this only works since, you know, I want it to be stored up like this. So in order for it to stay looking nice like this, it kind of has to be full. So I've ended up against my neuroticness. I ended up having to like overlap bins as far as like categories go. Like there are some bins that have both light and medium weight fabrics in it, but that's just because like I need the bins to be full in order to look nice and stay where I can see all the fabric from the top. But that's also worked out in my favor because I've ended up using less bins than I thought I would, and I have lots of empty bins for more fabric. I'm sure once I get my scraps and everything over here, that will change because I'll do a bin for each. I'm color coding my scraps, and I'll have a bin for each like scrap color combo, whatever. But it's going well. Once I'm using these, I don't know how well they'll stay looking that nice. I might end up like changing the whole thing, but for now, this is what I want. And really, like, since I'm categorizing it digitally, how often will I need to be like pulling things in and out? Like I should just be able to grab what I need very nicely and neatly and leave everything else looking nice. That's how it's gonna happen in my head anyway. But I only have like an hour, and I need to categorize all these, roll up the other ones that were left unrolled. I need to go on rolls and hopefully tackle some more things from the floor pile. So, wish me luck! Okay, so here is what my Trello workspace looks like for my fabric stash. This is a Trello board. Each board includes these lists, and within each list, there are several cards. And each card in this case is a piece of fabric that I have in my stash. Now, I decided to catalog the fabrics according to woven or knit, and within those two categories, I did light, medium, and heavyweight, and for the wovens, I divided them into drapey and crisp. So here I have my light, medium, and heavyweight drapey wovens, and then my light, medium, and heavyweight crisp wovens. And then we move on to my knits, light, medium, and heavyweight knits. I also have a special category for activewear and swim knits. And then I did a list for linings. And out of the wovens, since they're a little bit special, I separated and I have a list for denims and leathers. Also a couple oddball fabrics in here. And then linens and chambrays I put in their own category as well. I also made a list so that I would remember which bin my different scraps are in. And I took a little overhead view of those scraps. And I made a list for other because I do have a few bins where my stabilizers are, my muslins, and things for my Etsy shop, my yarns, etc. So let's click on a card and see what it looks like. So for each fabric, I titled the card. I just named the fabric whatever I decided to name it. And on the title, I put how much yardage I have and how wide it is. Now, when I click on this fabric, I can see all of my labels that I've labeled for this fabric. So each fabric, I have a thumbnail that I can easily see what it looks like. I use a color label to put it in a general color family if I want to search my fabric by colors. And then I have all these different labels. I have a label that notates about how many yards it is. I did not do specific yard labels. I did a range
so that way I can cover more fabrics with less labels, if that makes sense. I have a label for each bin so I know where the fabric is. And then I did a few labels just sort of to categorize what the fabric may be used for. And if I want to edit those labels, I just go here and I can see a list of all of the labels that I have in use. So I did my yardage labels, if it's less than half a yard, or half a yard to 1 yard, 1 yard to 1.5 yards, etc. I have a label for each bin, and then I have a few labels for what the fabric might be used for. If I have, I also label if it's washed or not washed. If I don't know, I just say it's not washed. And then I can easily search my labels here. If I want to quickly add a label, I can type it there instead of looking on the list. There's also a place to put descriptions, and for some of these fabrics, if I know for sure what I want to make out of it, I will write it in the description. And what's nice about this is that I can filter this board, and I can enter a keyword like dresses, and my labels will come up. Or if I have a certain pattern that I know I need 2 yards for, I can put in 2 and I can see everything that has 2 yards, that I have 2 yards of. Then I can go through and look and see what fabrics I could possibly use with that pattern. I can also filter my labels by color. I can switch it to exact match. So now it is only going to show me fabrics that qualify for both of the labels I have selected. If I want to make something green and 2 to 2.5 yards, these are the fabric options I have available to me. It shows me I have 3, here they are. If I don't do exact match, if I just do any match, it's going to show me both green fabrics and fabrics that are 2 to 2.5 yards. So this is really great for, say I need a fabric that has 1.5 yards. Let's do 1.5 to 2 yards. And I also know that it's going to be a dress. So I can do dresses and 1.5 yards, and I would then do exact match. So now I know anything I have that could be a dress or that I have labeled as a dress, I could use for this pattern that I have enough of. So you can use this in so many ways. You can make as many labels as you want. You can use the color coding better in a different way than I did here. I'm still evolving this process as I go, but so far this is the technique that works for me. Now, another thing I will note is that when it comes to the lengths, if I'm looking for a pattern that has at least 2 yards, I would want to click both the 2 to 2.5 as well as all of the yardages above it. And then I would want to do any match, so it shows me all of those options. Unless I'm trying to use the exact amount and not have any extra, it's good to use the any match option if you're looking just for a specific amount of yardage. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey in organizing my fabric. It has been very fun, and I hope you liked this video.